This is a video that we didn't want to make. I'll tell you why and explain why at the end of this video. We thought we'd also tie this video in with some questions that everyone has been asking us about our experience for going undercover and investigating UK farms for the first time. So we're going to answer some of them questions, but stay tuned to the end of the video to find out why this video in particular is one that we never wanted to make.
Okay, so we have a question that says, what was your biggest fear going inside?
I didn't really have a fear. I was anxious of what we were going to see and do.
My biggest fear was going inside and not capturing what we needed to capture to expose. Another fear was not being able to get inside to expose as well, because you plan and it takes time to set everything up and to go inside. So my fear was just making sure that what we do was going to be powerful for the animals to help them. But I'm the same, I didn't feel fearful of anything else really, just anxious.
And that's a good point actually. I didn't really even think about that, but fearful of coming out and then looking at the footage and thinking we didn't capture what we needed to capture.
Yeah.
And that's definitely changed. We came out, we've captured what we did capture. We've already evaluated what we did capture and realised that it definitely was our first time because we had planned to do things differently. We actually had a game plan of something completely different. But maybe that lends itself to the organicness of the videos that have been released, and the video that's coming next, I think is really organic. So hopefully you'll see that in the videos that this was just...
It's just real.
It was real. Okay, so the next question is from the Vegan Daily. How did seeing animal exploitation in real life compare to seeing it online? That's a really good question.
Yeah, really good question. So we realised that by going inside and seeing these victims for yourself is a whole nother level. I mean, you're still slightly disconnected through the screen, seeing what other people have filmed, but when you're there, you feel the emotion of the animal, you smell the smell, you see things that you don't really see through the screen, and you can't really explain until you've been inside. You feel the emotion from the animal and they look at you, they just look at you like
they connect with you.
Yeah.
They connect with you. I understand what you're trying to say. Through the screen, you see the individual, you empathise, you understand, and you still have that burning feeling of I need to help animals. I feel like perhaps going in firsthand and seeing them in front of you, you do connect with them individuals around you. When you see them on the screen, they're not looking at you.
Yeah.
One thing that's really stand out emotionally from being in there is you really do connect with the animals who are looking at you, and you feel a sense of responsibility for their safety, their rescue, for their help. So yeah, I mean, it really is like Dominion in real life, which is what we sort of had planned for, but we hadn't planned for the connections of the individuals in there, and how that would feel. And this is a point we're going to come to towards the end of the video about how it's changed us as activists. And the biggest takeaway for me, I don't know about yourself, I feel probably I can answer for both of us.
I know what you're going to say.
Is the urgency. We knew it was urgent. You know, we watched all of the exposés, all of the investigations. We knew the urgency from what we had seen online and seen from other exposés and investigations. But being there, it made the urgency and the time scale so much more real. Like, it was so real that it has given us a furious drive. It's ignited something in us even more so. So
yeah,
being in there firsthand has done that. It is different.
Yeah.
It is a lot different.
Because you want to save them now. You want to save all those animals right that second.
The feeling of helplessness.
Yeah.
You feel helpless. You feel helpless on the screen, but you feel helpless for that individual who's looking at you for help. Yeah, that's the emotion that I would say.
Yeah, and you take that guilt home with you. that if you can't save them all, that you carry that guilt, even though it's the farmers and the consumers putting them in this position, you still feel that responsibility that you get to go home, and that's hard. So another question says, how do you navigate the legal side? For example, posting content of undercover entering into farms.
So yeah, when it comes to the legal side of it, to be honest with you, we're still being guided by people who are helping us to do these things. So as far as, I don't want to give any legal advice because I don't really know the legal advice, or we don't really know the legal advice, is to be honest. Coming from what we're releasing, from our point of view, what we're trying to do is to not make the farms that we've been in identifiable. We don't want to identify the farms so that they increase security rather than anything else. In terms of the legal side of things, we know that going on to farms in the UK is only a civil offence. So as long as you comply within the civil rights of that law, and if you're asked to leave, you leave. You don't break anything. You don't force entry. You come and go, and everything is left as it is when you turned up.
I would also just say, release what you need to release and what is going to be optimal for the animals. You can blur things out in the background. You can just blur anything. If you're not sure, just get rid of it or zoom in and just focus on those victims to expose.
So that's our advice on that one. I hope that helps. But yeah, as far as the legal side of things, we're not really qualified to say anything legally, are we? We just know that we've got to get in these places. Like, if we don't do it, who's going to do it? Like, vegans being active is one thing, let alone getting vegans to go into these places. So someone's got to do it. So there comes a point where you just got to cross the lines, I suppose, sometimes, and just do what the animals need us to do. Okay, cool. So the last question we'll answer here is, what were your expectations before entering the farm?
Expectations was, it's going to be horrible. It's going to be absolutely devastating to see these individuals stuck in these places. But it was worse than any expectation.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I expected to see what we saw, but I didn't expect it to be as bad as what it was. Yeah, I didn't expect to not be able to breathe in these places. I didn't expect to be coughing our lungs up for 2 days after being in one particular place. I don't know, I expected to see the bad exploitive side of these industries, but I didn't expect it to be such a horrific environment for some reason. That really stuck in my mind, just the horrific environment.
Yeah, and until you've seen it, you haven't seen the world that is hidden yet fully.
Yeah, it's like a different world.
Yes.
You come out and you just realise, like, wow, there are two worlds. There is this like fluffy world that people live in where they're just so conditioned and they just literally have got like tunnel vision and they're just looking forwards. And then there's this like underworld, this undercurrent of just pure evil.
Yeah.
And it feels like you've visited hell on earth. And the worlds seem to never collide. And that's the job of an activist. That's our job. Our job is to take people in that fluffy world, in that one lane, and be the glass wall that exposes the undercurrent of evil that they don't even know exists. So this brings us to the part of the video that we really didn't want to make. And we really mean that when we say this, like, we really didn't want to make this part of the video. And we've tried for a long time to not make this video. I want to start off by saying, like, that we really, really appreciate, and we know how much help, support, and care that we've had, the backing that we've had. You know, those of you that follow us, you know, our camera equipment and the equipment that we use has been donated by kind people with massive hearts that have trusted us and backed us so far to help the animals. And everyone who's liked to comment, become a member, become a Patreon, shared comments, wrote comments on the algorithm to get the videos spinning. We truly appreciate every ounce of support. And I want to start by saying that, because this leads us on to this section that coming out of them farms has left us with this furious drive. I can't explain to you the emotion that we have that is basically impending this
massive urgency.
Like them animals needed us then. They needed us then, and we need to be able to go in and help them animals now. We are at a point where our activism is increasing and increasing, and rightly so. And that's all we ever wanted to do. But this comes at a cost, because we're at a point where we are financially struggling substantially now. We're at a point where we don't have time to do more activism, and the work that we're doing is slowing down, that is not financially supporting us. We really didn't want to ask for more help, because we are aware that we have received a lot of help. But there comes a point where we have to remove the awkwardness from us, because it's not about us. We purely are the middle section here. We're asking for your help for the animals' sake, because we realise that we need to help them, but we can't help them all the time that our ego is stopping us from asking for more support and help from all of you guys. We can't do it without your help. All I can tell you is that the desire for us to help the animals is so huge. It's consumed us to the point where 24 hours a day, all we're focused on is helping the animals. But we can't do it without you guys backing us. So this is a call to help. We really need to be full-time activists. We really need Patreon support, or support in any shape or form that anyone could offer. We need to up our activism. We need to drive further into this war. We need to get further onto that front line, and we need to do every single thing that we can possible to help the animals.
We really need to be free to help free the animals. We have tried so hard to work things out so that we can have as much time as possible to help the animals, but until we have every second of our life free, it's never going to be good enough. We are constantly thinking of new things. Our body shakes with the urgency daily. Those victims we saw in real life need us right this second. And we will do everything we can. We will never stop fighting, and we'll never give up hope for the animals. And with your help to help us become full-time activists, we just want to do everything we can.
Yes, this has been a really awkward video to make, to be honest. We really didn't want to do it. The same as we really didn't want to do the video when we asked for help for the camera equipment. And I hope that you know the sincerity behind that message. We really didn't want to do it. We've tried so hard to earn the money to pay for living costs so that we didn't have to ask. But we're at a point now where we have to, and we have to remove our ego, and we have to ask for the help for the animals' sake.
So we need help. And if you can help us to become full-time activists, please consider becoming a Patreon. We'll leave a link in our description, or feel free to message us on Instagram at It's Mel and Steve. And if there's anything that you can do to help support us become full-time, we honestly thank you from the bottom of our hearts. All we want to do is help animals. That's why we're here, to help animals and get animal liberation. So thank you so much for all your support so far, for likes, comments, any support, messages. It's appreciated so, so much. And we just hope that you know that we are never going to give up. We're never going to stop fighting, and let's ignite this movement together.
So if you've made it this far in the video, we appreciate you sticking to the end to hear this message. And as we said before, any help that you've already given us, thank you so much. We couldn't have got this far without the backing and the help of everyone. So we truly are grateful for your help in helping us to help the animals. And if there is anything you can do to help us financially going forwards, then we are grateful with every inch of our heart. thank you so much to all of you, and let's keep this fight going. Let's turn up the dials. Let's really start putting the animals out of these industries that exploit them, and let's really liberate them all.